approximately how long is it going to take to train a 20 billion parameter large language model on a standard GPU? Give me the rough estimate, no analysis, please.
It would take approximately 2 to 4 weeks to train a 20 billion parameter model on a standard GPU, costing around $20,000 to $50,000.
What if it's about 70 billion parameter model on a standard GPU? What is the rough estimate of the cost and the duration? Just the numbers.
For a 70 billion parameter model on a standard GPU, it could take approximately 8 to 16 weeks and cost around $200,000 to $500,000.
So this is exactly what we don't want to do, to spend all this amount and also all this number of weeks and months just to train a model or to fine-tune a model. Of course, when we are fine-tuning a model, we are training the model as well, or we are updating the model parameters, exactly what we do during training. And now, how do we reduce the time? And there comes parameter efficient fine-tuning. This is a method to train a model by training only a subset of the parameters. But first, let's understand how the parameters are stored in a model. So in a typical model, we have, let's assume this is a neural network, as it always may be. So we have this network, okay? And the network produces an output, and the network takes some inputs, right? So this is how a language model works, right? So this is a small one. A language model is this many times, a very gigantic neural network. Or it may be another kind of network, but this is basically how it works. So here we have all these weights, W1, W2, W3, W4, W5, W6. And we have all these biases, A1, A2, A3, A4. So a large language model is simply a collection of all these weights and biases, which we call the model parameter, and hence we have the name here, parameter efficient, meaning that we are talking about updating the model parameters. So when you hear of 70 billion parameter model, we hear of 20 billion parameter model, we are talking about when you count all these weights and biases, they are going to number 70 billion. It's as simple as that. It's simply a collection of numbers. Now, when you want to train, you are going to adjust the values of these numbers, of these parameters, so that they have different values to be able to perform a given task. So when we are training, in the training process, we are updating the parameters. Think about what it takes to update 70 billion parameters, not just once, but continue to update them until they converge. So what does it mean that we have to do parameter efficient fine-tuning, and what will be the effect of, let's say, 70 billion parameter in this case? Now, what is going to happen? Let's start with the first one, LoRA. So we have LoRA. For this example, let's assume 1 million parameters, right? Let's assume a 1 million parameter model we want to fine-tune. So we have this model existing in Hugging Face or wherever it is. We have this model, we want to fine-tune it to be able to perform certain different tasks. For instance, you have a general purpose model, but you want to fine-tune it to handle medical tasks or medical related prompts, and you need to train it using medical data, which is a small set, a tiny chunk of data compared to the data used to train the model. So for this example, let's say we have a model that have 1 million parameters. A model that has 1 million parameters, and it means the weight and biases is 1 million, and it means it's stored in a matrix of R, M by N. So the matrix holding this 1 million parameter is going to be 1000 by 1000. All right? So you have a 1 million parameter model. It is stored in the memory of the system as a 1000 by 1000 tensor or matrix. And when we talk about parameter efficient fine-tuning, we talk about, we start with LoRA. LoRA is saying that you don't have to train this 1 million parameters. You have to train only a subset of this number of parameters. And this subset may even be 10,000 of these parameters. And what it means is, let's say this matrix is matrix A. So in LoRa, you are going to decompose this matrix A, right? Matrix A, into matrix B and C. Now matrix B will have dimension M by R, matrix B. And matrix C will have a dimension R by N. So we have matrix A is equal to B plus C. And it's exactly the same because matrix M by R and matrix R by N will give us the same matrix M by N in terms of the dimension. So now when you want to apply low rank adaptation, you are going to train matrix B and C. You are going to train matrix B and matrix C. Now, if you are training matrix A, you are going to train 1 million parameters. If you are training matrix B, you are going to train lesser number of parameters. If you are training matrix C, you are going to train lesser number of parameters. But this is confusing, right? You are going to now train two matrices, two set of weights, instead of having to train one. So let's see how the numbers apply. Let me clean here and let's see. So the key here is to choose R, which is the rank. So this R here, this value here is what we call the rank. The low rank adaptation have to specify the rank of these two internal matrices that we are going to be using. And let's assume we have a rank of 3. If we have a rank of 3, then it means that our matrix A, our matrix B will now be 1000 by 3. 1000 times 3 equal to 3000 params. Our matrix C is going to have 1000 times 3, actually 3000 times 3 times 1000, R times N, right? Matrix C is R times N, so it's going to be 3 times 1000. It's going to be 3000 params. So here we are going to be training two matrices B and C, and the total number of parameters you are going to be training in this time will be 6000. So now compare 6000 to 1 million. So with low rank adaptation, we reduced the number of parameters we are going to train from 1 million parameters to just 6,000 parameters. Now the question is, after the training, what happens to the 6,000 parameters and what happens to the 1 million parameters? That is the catch. At the end of the training, the storage space for the parameter will now increase, because this will be an additional set of parameters that will be added to the existing set of parameters, right? So we now need more storage space for these matrices, B and C. So it will be additional storage space needed for these matrices, 6,000 parameter matrices for B and C. So this is basically how LoRa works. We reduce the number of trainable parameters from 1 million to only 6,000 trainable parameters by introducing two matrices B and C and specifying the rank, sometimes called the intrinsic rank of these matrices. Okay, hope you understand it. Let's now go to the next one, which is QLoRA. So QLoRA stands for Quantized Low Rank Adaptation. So it's basically LoRa plus quantized. What does it mean, quantized? So first, QLoRA applies LoRa. In addition to LoRa, QLoRA applies quantization. Quantization relates to how the weights of the matrices are stored. Basically, the precision of the data type used to store the matrices. So let's say you want to store the number 1, right? So you can store it as an integer, as an int, I think using 8 bytes. You can store it as int 16 for 16 bytes. You can also store it as a floating point of 32 bytes. You can also store it as a float of 64, or maybe as a double. So assuming you store it as a double, it means that this one piece of data, this weight here of 1, is going to occupy 64 bytes. Quantization is trying to say that instead of storing this number with higher precision, store the weight with lower precision, right? So instead of storing it with 64, we can choose to store it with 16 bits, or from 64 to 32 bits, reducing the size of the parameter. And this is very crucial because you can actually reduce the size of the parameter from 64 to 32, which means you reduce the size of the parameter by half. So if you have a 1 million parameter that takes 64 million, the size of 64 million, you can actually reduce to 32 million in terms of the size of this parameter. And when this is reduced, you also reduce the resource utilization or the resource needs for training these parameters and also storing these parameters. So that's basically the concept of QLoRA. In a different lesson, I'm going to dive a little bit deep into the theoretical details of QLoRA. For now, I hope you understand the concept of parameter efficient fine-tuning, low-rank adaptation, and QLoRA, quantized low-rank adaptation. I'd like to thank you for viewing. If this has been informative for you, please consider subscribing to my channel and also leave me a comment if you have any problem. And like this video for sure if it's useful to you, and we'll see you in the next part.